gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. Three little birds by my doorstep, singing a sweet song, melody pure and true. Singing, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. Three little birds by my doorstep, singing a sweet song, a melody pure and true. Singing, this is my message for you.
And all you have to do is go, ooh. It's Miss Cara's birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Cara. These oohs are for you. Ready?
I saw the sun peek through
It
this
is
morning.
beautiful today. Great
From the
birthday.
window into my room. Welcome to the sun. I'll wake up fresh with a smile on my face.
Happy birthday, smile.
For the day has begun. Welcome to the sun. Welcome, welcome, this is our welcome song. Welcome, welcome, I hope you'll sing along. Welcome, welcome, the sky up above. Welcome to you. I'll stretch up high and down to the ground. Now I'm ready for the day. I'll feed my body for energy and strength, so I can go and play. Welcome, welcome, this is our welcome song. Welcome, welcome, I hope you'll sing along. Welcome, welcome, the sky up above. Welcome to you. Welcome to you.
Well, I am so glad that you are here, and I saw some messages popping up on the screen. I'm not always able to keep up with them, but I see. No. We don't want more music now. I see that it's Miss Cara's birthday, and Miss Cara is a wonderful part of Shayla North Hills Library, and so happy birthday to you. This is a beautiful day for a birthday. It's Saturday, it's sunny, it's July, so we are all wishing you, Miss Cara, a happy birthday. In fact, the song that we sing, our welcome song, is actually to the tune of Happy Birthday. Here we go. Good morning to you, good morning to you. It's story time on Saturday. Is anybody here new? I wonder, I have no idea if anybody's out there for the first time, but if so, we're so glad you're here. If you've been here forever and ever, give us a 10-finger wiggle and we'll do that again. Good morning to you, good morning to you. It's story time on Saturday. Is anybody here new or been here forever and ever? All right, second verse. Good morning to you, good morning to you. It's story time on Saturday. Let's read a book or two. And that's usually, if we're in the library, I have you look around at the covers and see if you can guess the theme. If you've been joining us throughout the summer, you know that I've been working my way through the classics. So we are doing a classic fairy tale, older story today, and we are doing a story called The Ugly Duckling. So we'll sing that verse again. Good morning to you, good morning to you. It's story time on Saturday. Let's read a book or two about the ugly duckling. All right, last verse is, get your lights worked up. Good morning to you, good morning to you. Before we get started, let's hop like a kangaroo. Hop, 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 hop. Now keep hopping, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sing happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Miss Cara. Happy birthday to you. This is an exciting Saturday. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, well, I didn't know it was Miss Cara's birthday, and that is wonderful and exciting. And if anybody else is having a birthday out there, happy birthday to you. I have a summer birthday. I love summer. It's actually pretty hot today, so yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit different today. And the great thing about this is whether you're in the library and we're doing this together in one space, or whether you're watching out there on your computer or your phone, you are free to stay as little or as long as you want. And I always say, you know, if one story works for you and then you need to go and play, that's fine. So today, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do one book. And it's really long, but it's really good. So do you see up here at the top? I've got my Post-it notes because those are bookmarks. So when I get to a Post-it note, I'm actually going to stop and we're going to sing. So we're not going to do it all at once. There'll be some pauses, but this is a good book. And I think today it's a book, well, it's a one-book story time, one book and many songs. So the story that we're reading today, and the illustrations are just fabulous. Can you see that? They are just amazing illustrations. This is a very old story, and it is called The Ugly Duckling. The pictures are wonderful, the words are wonderful, and I think the meaning of this book is wonderful. So stay as long or as little as you want. It was a glorious day in the countryside, and summer had come, and the corn stood golden in the fields, and the oats were tall and green, and hay had been stacked in the meadows. And the stork walked on his long red legs, chattering in Egyptian, which was the language he'd learned from his mother. Around the fields and meadows were vast forests, and in the middle of the forest were deep lakes. Yes, it really was a glorious day. There in the sunshine stood an old farmhouse with a moat around it, and from its wall down to the water, large burdock plants grew. The largest were so tall that the little children could stand upright underneath them. It was a spot as wild and as the thickest forest. Here, a duck sat on her nest, waiting for her ducklings to hatch. But they were taking such a long time, and she had been sitting for so many days that she was starting to get impatient. Oh my gosh, how much longer would this go on? And didn't the other ducks realize that she would like a little company now and then? But no, they went right on swimming in the moat and having a wonderful time. And they were never considerate enough to come by and sit down with her for a nice chat under the burdock leaves. So here's that wonderful moat, and there she is, and she's sitting on her nest. Finally, one egg cracked, and then another, until 6 of them had cracked open. Peep, 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 they said. The yolks had suddenly come to life, and each one stuck out its little head out of the shell. "Quack, quack, quack, quack," said the mother duck encouragingly. And the ducklings all crawled out as well, and they looked around, and the mother duck let them look as much as they wanted to. "Oh, how big the world is," said all the ducklings. And certainly they had a lot more room now than when they were inside the eggs. "Do you suppose this is the whole world?" said the mother duck. "Oh, the world is much bigger than you can imagine. It goes far past the other side of the garden, right into the parson's field. But I've never gone as far as that." She paused. "Are you all out yet?" she said. "Oh, not all of you." The largest egg still hadn't cracked open. "How much more time is this going to take? I'm so tired of sitting here." And she sat back down on her nest. So here we've got, let me get the page right. Here we've got the eggs, and the little ducks are hatching out of the eggs. But then you see there at the bottom, there's a really big egg that hasn't hatched. "Hello, my dear, how are you doing?" said an old duck who had come by to pay the mother duck a visit. "One of my ducks is taking a very long time to hatch," said the mother duck. "It still doesn't have a single crack in it. But just look at the others. Aren't they the prettiest little ducklings you've ever seen? They all look like their father." "Let me take a look at that egg, the one that won't crack," said the old duck. "Oh, well, of course. It's a turkey egg. Trust me, I was once tricked that way, and I had so much trouble with the little ones. Imagine, they were all afraid of the water. I just couldn't get them to go in. I pleaded, I begged, I snapped, I slapped, but nothing worked. Let me look at it again. Ah, yes, it's definitely a turkey egg. Take my advice. Just leave it to fend for itself, and go teach your real children how to swim." Oh, I think I'll sit on it a little longer," the mother duck said. "I've been sitting here for so long that a few more days won't matter." "Suit yourself," said the old duck, and she walked away. At last, the large egg cracked open. "Peep, peep," said the duckling, and crawled out. He was very big and very ugly. So I'm just going to pause there so that you can see the picture of the ugly duckling. The mother duck stared at him. Listen to what she says. "What an awfully big duckling," she said. "None of the others look like this. Could he be a turkey chick after all? Well, we'll find out soon enough. He'll go into the water even if I have to push him." They are incredible illustrations. Just incredible. The next day was gorgeous, with a bright sun shining down onto the burdock leaves. And the mother duck walked down to the water with the whole family and dived in with a splash. "Quack, quack, quack, quack," she said. And one after another, the ducklings jumped in after her. The water closed over their heads, but they came up again in an instant and swam around beautifully, their little legs paddling under them in the most natural way in the world. They were all in the water, and the ugly gray duckling was in the water too, swimming along with the others. "No, he's definitely not a turkey chick," said the mother duck. "Look how easily he paddles and how straight he holds himself in the water. No doubt about it. He's my own child. Now, children, come along with me and I will take you into society and introduce you to the most important ducks. But you must stay close or someone will step on you. And especially be careful around the cat. So you can see here, there's the mother duck. I'm gonna get a little bit closer. And there are all the little ducklings. And there's the ugly duckling. All right, so this is what's happened. I have reached a Post-it note. See my Post-it note right there? So we're gonna stop and we're just gonna pause, and I've got my place there, and we are gonna stop and we're gonna stretch and we're gonna sing. So we are going to sing, and I think you probably wanna get up for this one. Jump up. You ready?
Simple motions and a simple rhyme. Say it as you play it and repeat 2 times.
Ready?
Jump up,
Jump up,
turn around,
turn around,
clap your hands,
clap your hands,
stamp the ground,
stamp the ground,
jump up,
up,
turn around, clap your hands,
clap your hands,
stamp the ground.
stamp the ground.
Let's play it again, but this time try to say it as you play and stretch your arms up high. Jump up, turn around, clap your hands, stamp the ground, jump up, turn around, clap your hands, stamp the ground.
stamp the ground.
Let me suggest that this time you might
You ready?
say it as you play it with your eyes closed tight.
It's harder than it looks. Ready?
Jump up,
Jump up,
turn around, clap your hands, stamp the ground,
stamp the ground.
jump up,
Keep your eyes closed.
turn around, clap your hands,
Stamp
stamp the ground.
stamp the ground. I think this next one's the hardest.
Get ready, my friends, to take a deep breath,
You ready?
because I challenge you to play it as you hold your
I
breath.
gotta take another breath before we get
All right,
started.
get
Ready? Isn't it
Once again.
harder? It is.
Okay, you can let your breath out now.
Thank you. Oh, good. All right, thank you. Okay, so we're going back. I know it's different today, but I think this is really good. Okay, so I'm going to show you a picture. Remember, the mother duck said, but be on the lookout for the cat. When they reached the duck yard, there was a terrible uproar. 2 families were fighting over an eel's head. Finally, it was the cat that got it. See, that's the way of the world, said the mother duck, licking her beak, for she would have liked to have had the eel's head herself. Come on now, hurry up, she said, and make a nice bow to the old duck over there. She is the most distinguished duck in the yard. Can you see how proud and aristocratic she is? Aristocratic, I can say it. She is the center of attention wherever she goes. Hurry up now, and don't turn your feet inward that way. A well-brought-up duckling turns his feet out, just like his father and mother. Look, just like this. Then make a nice bow and say, quack. The ducklings did as they were told, but the other ducks glared at them. Will you look at that? One more family trying to invade the yard, as if there weren't enough of us already. We won't put up with creatures like that. And one duck flew at him and bit him in the neck. Leave said the mother. "He's not bothering anyone." "True," said the duck who had bitten him, "but he's too big and he's too ugly. We just don't want him around." "Pretty children you have, my dear," said the old aristocratic duck. "All but that one. He's rather a dud, don't you think? I wish you could remake him." "Oh, that's not possible, madam," the mother duck said. "He may not be pretty, but he has a very good heart. He's kind and considerate, and that's worth at least as much as good looks. And he can swim as well as the others, perhaps even better. And I have a feeling that he'll be better looking as he grows up." And she stroked his neck and she smoothed his feathers. "Anyway," she said, "I'm sure he'll grow up to be strong and be able to manage quite well." "The other ducklings are lovely, though," said the old duck. "Now, make yourselves at home, my dear, and if you happen to find an eel's head, you may bring it to me." And so they made themselves at home. And I think that this is my favorite picture. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the eyes of the ducks. And look how loving that mommy duck is. But the duckling who had come out of the egg last and who looked so ugly was bitten and pushed and laughed at by all the other ducks and by the chickens as well. "Oh, what a monster he is!" they all said. And the turkey, who, because he had been born with spurs on his feet, thought he was the emperor of the barnyard, puffed himself up like a ship with full sails and rushed straight at the duckling, gobbling his red face with anger. The duckling didn't know where to hide. He was very sad to be so ugly that everyone in the barnyard despised him. So I'm just going to stop there and read before I read the next page, because you can see all the barnyard animals and their not so friendly faces. That's how the first day was, and afterward it went from bad to worse, and the duckling was attacked by everyone. Even his brothers and sisters were mean to him and said, "We hope the cat catches you, you ugly thing." And his mother was no longer able to bear it. "I wish you were far, far away." And the ducks bit him, and the chickens pecked him, and the girl who fed the animals pushed him away with her foot. Can you see down there at the bottom? There he is. A very sad, ugly duckling. So he ran away and he flew over the hedge, and the little birds fluttered out of the bushes frightened. "Oh, they're scared of me because I'm so ugly," thought the duckling. And he closed his eyes, but he kept on flying. Eventually he came to a great marsh where the wild ducks lived, and he spent the night there, tired and miserable. In the morning, the wild ducks flew up, and they looked at their new companion. "What kind of bird are you?" they asked. And the duckling turned around to all of them and greeted them as well as he could. "Oh, you're remarkably ugly," said the wild ducks. "But that doesn't matter to us, as long as you don't marry into our family." The little duckling was hardly thinking of getting married. All he wanted was permission to lie among the reeds and drink a little marsh water. All right, so I've come to a Post-it note. I'll go ahead and take that one off so that you can see. I want you to be able to see the beautiful illustrations here. Just incredible. Look at that turtle. Okay, so we're gonna pause there. You guys are doing a great job. I know it's long, I know this is different, but I think it's such a wonderful story. Okay, so now we're gonna do a silly song. And I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And all you have to do is say, shoo-lie-loo. You ready? Got anything that you wanna, I've got my noodles again, I've got my...
Just from the kitchen,
Ready?
with a handful of biscuits.
Shoo-lie-loo,
Oh, Miss Bessie,
shoo-lie-loo,
fly away over yonder.
shoo-lie-loo,
Just from the kitchen,
shoo-lie-loo,
with a handful of biscuits.
shoo-lie-loo,
Oh, Miss Nancy,
shoo-lie-loo,
fly away over yonder.
shoo-lie-loo,
Just from the kitchen,
shoo-lie-loo,
with a handful of biscuits.
shoo-lie-loo,
Oh, Miss Story,
shoo-lie-loo,
fly away over yonder.
shoo-lie-loo. I've got my drum. Shoo-lie-loo, 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 shoo-lie-loo,
Just from the kitchen,
shoo-lie-loo,
with a handful of biscuits.
shoo-lie-loo,
Hey, Mr. Daniel,
shoo-lie-loo,
fly away over yonder.
shoo-lie-loo,
Just from the kitchen
shoo-lie-loo,
with a handful of biscuits.
shoo-lie-loo,
Oh, Miss Santa Claus,
shoo-lie-loo,
fly away over yonder.
shoo-lie-loo. Shoo-lie-loo, 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 shoo-lie-loo,
Just from the kitchen,
shoo-lie-loo,
with a handful of biscuits.
shoo-lie-loo. Get hungry.
Oh, Mr. Cat,
Shoo-lie-loo,
fly away over yonder.
shoo-lie-loo,
Just from the kitchen,
shoo-lie-loo,
with a handful of biscuits.
shoo-lie-loo,
Hey, Mr. G,
shoo-lie-loo,
fly away over yonder.
shoo-lie-loo. Hope you're dancing.
Just from the kitchen,
Shoo-lie-loo,
with a handful of biscuits.
shoo-lie-loo,
Oh, Mr. Soggy,
shoo-lie-loo,
fly away over yonder.
shoo-lie-loo,
Just from the kitchen,
shoo-lie-loo,
with a handful of biscuits.
shoo-lie-loo,
Hey, Miss Elizabeth,
shoo-lie-loo,
fly away over yonder.
shoo-lie-loo,
Just from the kitchen,
shoo-lie-loo,
with a handful of biscuits.
shoo-lie-loo,
Now everybody,
shoo-lie-loo.
fly away over yonder.
Just sounded like they were having a great time. And I think it's one of those songs where anybody who's in the room, you can include their name. So you can do that one later maybe with your family or with your friends. And all you have to remember is shoo-lie-loo. Okay, so here we are. We're going back and you guys are doing a great job. We're getting closer. I'm just going to show you the pictures first. And that's going to give you a hint about what happens next. After he'd been there for a couple of days, 2 wild geese arrived, or rather 2 wild ganders. They were both males. They hadn't been hatched for very long, and that's why they were very brash. "Listen, chum," one of them said. "You're so ugly that I like you. Why don't you fly with us?" Suddenly, there was a bang, bang above them, and the 2 wild ganders fell among the reeds. Bang, bang sounded again, and the flocks of wild geese flew out of the reeds, and the shots burst out again. It was the first hunt of the season, and the hunters surrounded the marsh, and some even sat in the branches of the trees that stretched out in the water. And the blue smoke from their guns drifted like clouds into the trees, and far out over the water. And the hunting dogs splashed into the marsh, bending the reeds on all sides. There's that dog. The duckling was terrified. He turned his head to hide it beneath his wing, but at that very moment, a huge dog passed near him, its long tongue hanging from its mouth, and its huge eyes glittering. It thrust its snout very close to the duckling, bared its sharp teeth, and splash! Away it went, without touching him. Thank goodness, sighed the duckling. I'm so ugly that even the dogs won't bite me. And he lay quite still, while gun after gun fired and the shots whizzed through the reeds. It was late in the day, before everything was quiet again, but the duckling still didn't dare to get up. He waited several more hours before he looked around, and then he hurried out of the marsh as fast as he could. He ran across a meadow and a field, but a storm arose, and the wind blew so hard that he had terrible trouble getting anywhere. Toward evening, he reached a poor little cottage, which was so broken down he couldn't decide which way to fall, and so it remained standing. The storm howled around the duckling so furiously that the only way not to be blown over was to sit down. But then he noticed that the door had come off its hinges and was hanging so crookedly he could crawl into the cottage through the crack. And that's just what he did. In the cottage lived an old woman with her cat and her hen. The cat, whose name was Sunny, would arch his back and he'd purr, and he could even give out sparks. But for that you had to pet his fur the wrong way, from tail to head. The hen had very short little legs, and so she was called Chicky Shortlegs. She laid good eggs, and the old woman loved her as if she were her own daughter. In the morning, they noticed the strange duckling, and the cat began to purr, and the hen began to cluck. "Oh, what's this?" said the woman, looking around. But her eyesight wasn't very good, and she thought the duckling was a wild duck who had lost its way. "What a find!" she said. Now I can have duck eggs. If only it's not a male. Oh, we'll have to wait and see." And so the duckling was taken on for trial for 3 weeks, but no eggs appeared. So there's the beautiful old cottage, and there's the crack in the door where the duckling was able to sneak in. And do you see in the window? Do you see the cat? And the hen's name is Chicky Shortlegs. Now, gotta see the picture. Now the cat was the master of the house, and the hen was mistress, and they always said, "us and the world," because they believed that they were half the world, and the better half too. The duckling thought there might be a different opinion about that, but the hen wouldn't hear of it. "Can you lay eggs?" she said. "No." "Then be quiet, please." And the cat said, "Can you arch your back and purr and give out sparks?" "No." "Then you have no right to an opinion when sensible people are talking." So the duckling sat in the corner in very low spirits, and then he remembered the fresh air and the sunshine, and he felt a strange longing to swim in the water that he couldn't help telling the hen. "What's the matter with you?" she said. "You don't have anything to do, and that's why you're getting such a silly idea. Lay on eggs or purr and it will pass." "But it's so wonderful to swim in the water," said the duckling, "and it's so glorious to feel it close over your head as you dive down to the bottom." I've got to get these pictures right. Here we go. Isn't that beautiful? "Some pleasure that would be," said the hen. You must be crazy. Ask the cat. He's the smartest animal I know. Ask him if he'd like to swim in the water or dive down to the bottom. I won't tell you my opinion, but ask the old mistress, the old woman. There's no one smarter in the world than she is. Do you think she'd like to swim and let the water close in over her head? You don't understand me, said the duckling. Well, if we don't understand you, who could? You don't think, do you, that you're smarter than the cat or the old woman, not to mention myself? Don't be silly, child. You should thank your good fortune for coming to this place. Don't you have a warm house now and companions you can learn from? But you're a ninny, and you're not much fun to be around. Believe me, I'm speaking only for your own good. I'm telling you these... Oh, it goes on and on. Just take my advice. Just learn how to lay eggs or purr or give out sparks. I think I'll go to the wide world now, said the duckling. Oh, go ahead, said the hen. And so the duckling went. He swam in the water and he dived. But all the other animals avoided him because he was so ugly. Again, this is super long. We're going way over and we've come to the bookmark. Okay, so let's do a song and then we'll finish. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. It's just so good. Okay, so I think that we probably need to have a silly dance contest. So let's do it. You ready?
Now this is called the Silly Dance Contest, where the silliest dancer is always the best. You just dance, dance, dance as silly as you please, and when the music stops, then you freeze.
Ready?
Dance any way you want to, dance any way you please, dance any way you want to, but stop when I say freeze. Hold that freeze as quiet as you can. And get ready for the Silly Dance Contest Round 2.
Ready?
Dance any way you want to, dance any way you please, dance any way you want to, but stop when I say freeze. Freeze. Like a statue. Now if you look silly, you're doing great. And this time we're going to jump up and down as high as we can. Jump as high as you want to, jump as high as you please, jump as high as you want to, but stop when I say freeze. Stay frozen. Some people freeze with a silly face. And this time, let's dance as fast as we can.
Get hot. Woo!
Dance as fast as you want to, dance as fast as you please, dance as fast as you want to, but stop when I say freeze. I told you that was fast. But now here's the hard one. Dancing in slow motion. Dance as slow as you want to. Dance as slow as you please. Take a partner. Dance as slow as you want to, but stop when I say freeze. One final round of the Silly Dance Contest. Dance any way you want to, dance any way you please, dance any way you want to, but stop when I say freeze. And it ends with your arms stretched way up high in the air. And when the music gets lower, everybody shrinks a little lower. And then lower. And lower. And lower. And all the way down.
Make sure to turn off. Okay, good. All right, so time is ticking. So there's a wonderful page about the autumn. And there are some geese that the ugly duckling sees. And then comes winter. And here's winter. And even the peasant, it says even the peasant children didn't want to play with him. It says how funny they looked. And the woman came out and she swung at him with fire tongs, and the children ran and tripped into each other, laughing and shouting. So that's what's happening on this page. They're so ugly, they've startled people. It would be too sad to describe all the misery that the duckling had to endure during that harsh winter. And when the sun finally began to get warm again, he was lying among the reeds in the marsh, and the larks sang, and it was a glorious spring. Suddenly, the duckling spread his wings, which beat more strongly than before and carried him swiftly away. And before he knew it, he found himself in a large garden where the apple trees were in bloom and the fragrant lilacs bent their long green branches down to the winding streams. It was so beautiful here. And straight ahead, out of the thicket, came 3 splendid white birds, like the ones he'd seen last autumn. Remember when he'd seen before? They rustled their feathers and they swam so lightly on the water. And the duckling recognized them and was overcome with strange excitement. I will fly to those royal birds. It doesn't matter if they bite me or drive me away. I just want to be with them for a moment. They're so beautiful. And he flew out onto the water and he swam toward the magnificent creatures. And when they saw him, they rushed to him with outstretched wings. "It's all right," said the duckling. "You can bite me if you want. I don't mind." And he bent his head down to the water and he waited for them. But what did he see in the clear water? It had to be his own reflection. There was no question about it. But why wasn't he seeing a clumsy, ugly, dark gray bird reflected in the water? It was impossible. It was too good to be true. But what was reflected in the water was the image of one of those glorious birds. Could it be? He looked again, and the image was still in front of him, looking back at him from the water. It must be. How incredible, how wonderful, how grateful he felt. There he is, and he's seeing his reflection. And look at the illustration. It's just incredible. He was just like those gorgeous creatures swimming toward him. He was one of them. At last, he belonged. And he gave thanks for all the misery he had undergone, which made him all the more grateful for his happiness now. And the 3 birds swam around him, and they stroked him with their beaks. And some of the children came into the garden, and they threw bread and grain, and the littlest one shouted, "There's a new one! The new one is the most beautiful swan of all." We've made it to the last page. This made him feel so shy that he hid his head beneath his wing. He didn't know what to do. He was so happy. But he was not at all conceited, for a good heart never becomes conceited. He remembered how persecuted and ridiculed he had been, and now he heard everyone say that he was the most beautiful of the beautiful swans. Even the lilacs bent their branches to him right down to the water, and the sun shone so warm and bright. I've never dreamed of such happiness as this, as when I was the ugly duckling. That was super long, and it was different from our other story times. I know, but I think you can see why I thought it was important to read. I see a glare there. The Ugly Duckling. There's so many things in this book that are important to know. His mommy loved him, and that he did grow up, and that he finally found where he belonged. And I think what's so, so beautiful at the end was he was happy, but he was not at all conceited, for a good heart never becomes conceited. So I better stop talking. You have much things to do. So here's the thing, is I only read one book, and it was a super long book. But next week, I'm just going to give you a sneak preview, because we're going to continue with the duck theme, and I've already got some books ready for that. You guys have been awesome. Happy birthday to Miss Cara. Thank you for listening. Thank you for singing. Thank you for dancing. I'm going to put on some music as we head out, and I hope that you have a really great week.
Hear you sing, sing it together, louder than ever. Forget everything, just sing like it's what we've been missing. And they're gonna listen, listen. Forget everything, just sing.
We'll do this next week. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.